Hey guys, I get an amazing amount of questions about sciatic pain. Doc, I got this pain down the back of my leg. Is that sciatica? I get that all the time. People call it sciatic, but it is kind of spelled like sciatic. It's spelled S-C-I-A-T-I-C. The sciatic nerve that leaves from our lower back, and it can wreak major havoc. I don't know if it's much more prevalent because everyone's sitting more during the pandemic. I don't know if people aren't moving enough, but I do know the cause and I do know the correction well over 99% of the time. The cause is vertebral subluxation. Let's all say that together on three. 1, 2, 3. Vertebral subluxation. What that means is a vertebra or a group of vertebrae are out of alignment and choking off life from the low back into the nerves that go down the leg. The sciatic nerve leaves from the vertebra of the low back and goes down the back of the leg and wreaks havoc when it's having a problem. Something very, very important to know is that, like an iceberg, the major problem, the major issue is not just above the surface, the major problem is below the surface. What I mean by that is over 90% of your nerves have nothing to do with feeling. So that pain that you're having, that sciatic pain, if you want to call it that, but it is pronounced sciatic, is causing other problems in your body. Those same nerves that go down your leg, they also control all of your reproductive organs, your bowels, your bladder, all the functions of those parts down there. So when people have sciatic pain, we very frequently see that correlated with the lower digestive tract problems, constipation, diarrhea, leaky bladder when you cough or sneeze, erectile dysfunction, many hormonal malfunctions, any type of sexual dysfunction is very, very common when we have subluxations or misalignments. Now, I will say it is possible to have sciatic pain without any subluxation. I've just never seen it in 25 years, because what can happen is the muscles that surround the sciatic nerve, the piriformis muscle, even some of the gluteal muscles, especially in some people, they surround the sciatic nerve, and those muscles can become very inflamed themselves, and they can interfere with that nerve and create a pinching pain down the leg. I just rarely see that also because most of the time those muscles are inflamed is because it's misaligned as well. We see pelvic misalignments and rotations, we see lateral flexions, we see strains and sprains because the spine is out of alignment. So let's take a look at some x-rays and so you can get an idea of what often causes sciatic pain. So these are actual set of x-rays. We x-ray almost all of our patients, and the reason is we can get to the bottom of their problems not just much quicker, but we can solve them much, much more thoroughly, because 5 people can have the same exact pain and have dramatically different x-ray and posture presentations. This we'll call Tim. Tim here, the normal line is this green line. This is not something we made up one day to sell a product or to, I don't know, do anything but help people. This is widely published. Our group of doctors with chiropractic biophysics, which is the system that we use, is the most proven system of correcting it, but the best system of analyzing, and we, the ones who published, these green lines here are normal, and so we want to get as close to that as normal. So we can see here the red lines is where Tim's alignment is. You can see he's very, very far from normal. His spine is shifted right there. Interestingly, he came to me and he said, the problem's in my L4, doc. I've been going to chiropractors for years and years and years. The problem's in my L4. Yes, Tim, one of the problems is in the L4. That does happen to be one of the very misaligned vertebrae in his lower back. But if we made L4 perfect, a question for you in the audience, would that make the rest of this be in alignment? I'll give you a hint. Nope, not even close, because he's really far off here. So we have to get all of this much closer to normal. Now, when it's been this long, you can probably tell he's an older gentleman. It's been there. This has been building for 40 or 50 years, even though he's been going to chiropractors fairly regularly for that long. They just didn't correct the posture. So what has to happen is complete restoration as much as possible toward that. Ideally, we would have caught this longer ago, because this problem just isn't L4 or C6, because he also has numbness down his arms, and for the same reason. So how are we going to correct this? If we look at it, we need to take it piece by piece here. This is his neck x-ray. So if we look, this is the side view of his neck here. The green line is normal. The bottom of his neck curves backwards. Now, this is usually from an injury, almost always. If we catch this early enough, This is actually a body's normal adaptation to the head shifting forward. The bottom part curls forward, the bottom part of the neck, and the top part curls back. That's a normal, what we call compensation pattern or coupling pattern to that. So we can sometimes in the beginning do exercises and just have him shift his head backwards. That's very, very effective in the early stages. But once we get all this level of deterioration and degeneration down here, that is not moving without traction. So we need a traction for his neck to get his head and neck back shifted over here. He also needs to do home exercises, strengthening exercises, super, super important to correct that. Now we look at his middle back, it's a similar problem. So the top of his middle back is 144 millimeters from the normal line. So he's shifted way, way forward. So we have to do strengthening exercises and traction to get him all the way back there. But we look at his lower back from the side view here, and the normal is this green line here. Again, a 40-degree curve is normal. His curve is 18 degrees. And we know it's been there a long time because we look at the discs there, they're degenerated. Discs don't ever degenerate unless there's abnormal forces on them grinding them down. When there's a normal alignment, like these 3 green curves here, so if someone's closer to this green line here, the way it's designed is 3 opposing springs. So that 1 spring in the neck, 1 spring in the mid-back, and 1 spring in the lower back. They're supposed to compress and elongate, compress and elongate. That's how the body's designed to take stress. The only reason we get these discs degenerating, causing often permanent sciatic pain, is because the spring is lost. The discs are taking all the compression and the load. They're not supposed to take that load. They're supposed to coil and relax. Like if you were gonna walk down 30 flights of stairs and you had a body cast from your chest all the way down to your toes and you could not move at all and you had to go down the stairs like this, 30 flights, by the bottom of those stairs, you're gonna be in a lot of pain because your knees and your ankles and your hips can't flex and move. It's the same thing with your spine. So you don't wait till you have sciatic pain to take care of this. So, but back to his lower back, he needs specific traction here, where this bone right here, it's supposed to curve 9 degrees forward, it's only 1.4 degree. So we're gonna have to do a specific traction that's gonna pivot, increase his pelvic tilt. And by the way, x-rays are so important to determine proper pelvic tilt because, well, it varies a little bit from person to person based on a measurement we take, an anatomical measurement, but 75% of people should be a 40-degree pelvic tilt. Eyeballing it we can't tell accurately. Someone can look very different from someone else but have the same pelvic tilt, or they can look identical but have a very different pelvic tilt. So we're gonna have to traction to increase his pelvic tilt, increase this curve right here, while at the same time working to extend his thoracic spine to get it more near there and decompress his neck and shift his head back. That used to be 3 or 4 different tractions. Now we do them all at the same time, saving people immense piles of time and money. So we need to decompress all that. Now, what does that have to do with sciatic pain? Because all those subluxations put stress on the nervous system. It's like having a faucet at the top here, and the faucet is turned way down, and then we have a hose clamp here, and then we have another hose clamp right here at the bottom of his thoracic spine, and then another hose clamp here, and clamping down that strength, that energy, that life flowing from the brain down through the body. And then we think it's just, I don't have enough fertilizer on my plants, but they're not actually getting water. That's what it's like to medicate this. Now, sometimes people need a medication when they're in severe pain, but if every time you're in pain, all you do is medicate it, you're just masking that symptom. That's like if I'm driving around in my car and I talk to my 16-year-old son, Jacob, I say, "Oh, Jacob, my oil light came on. Hand me the duct tape, will you?" Tear off a piece of duct tape and slap it on there. Doesn't work too hot, does it? That doesn't fix the problem. We have to not just medicate this, but correct the mechanics of it. So sciatic pain is almost always from a misalignment in the vertebra. Yes, it is often from L2, 3, 4, or 5, usually L4 or 5, but we have to look at the body as a whole and address it as strengthening, as the right adjustments, as the right traction, and the right home exercises. If we catch it really early, some people just need a couple adjustments and they're done. I had a patient who I just saw him this morning. I was coming in from a run, and I hadn't seen him for almost a year now. He came to me for about 3 months, about a year ago, and I just saw him this morning. He's a neighbor of mine, And he said he only did 3 months of care, but he crushed it. He did his rehab like incredibly. He got amazing results. And he said, I still feel perfect. I'm lifting things still that I never dreamed I'd ever lift again. Well, I wish he'd come in for a tune-up every once in a while, but still, once we get this structure more normal, it's amazing what it does for your overall health and your likelihood of not having sciatica today, but the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So I hope that helps on understanding what sciatica is. Go be blessed and take great care of your body.